Lisa Gets an A is a really good episode of The Simpsons, and there's one scene in this in particular that made this more than a good episode and made it one that I actually really enjoyed because it took me by surprise. The title itself is quite peculiar because it's not like Lisa never gets A's, but the narrative, it's very well done. It's the 7th episode of the 10th season of The Simpsons, directed by Bob Anderson. It's got 8.1 out of 10 on IMDb, which is a pretty good score. So, for one reason or another that I'm not going to go into too much detail about, but actually I really like the reason, Lisa hasn't studied enough for her test. And the events leading up to that I think are actually pretty great and shows us a different side to Lisa. But she hasn't studied, and she decides, in a desperate attempt to not fail the test, she cheats. She decides to cheat. And after cheating and getting this grade, her moral compass begins to go all over the place and she begins to panic and she worries about what to do. But when people find out she cheated, she's told that she has to keep quiet because of her grade, the school is getting some grant money. And if she announces that she cheated, the school's not going to get that money. So actually her teachers are saying, all right, you cheated, but be quiet about it. I'm not going to change your grade. And it's a situation Lisa hadn't predicted. And what happens afterwards, I think, is pretty interesting, and I really liked it. I'll come back to that in a moment, but we do have a subplot where Homer gets a pet lobster, which is an entirely unpredictable narrative within itself. I'm not that bothered about that side of it, but it's a nice kind of slightly more light-hearted compared to, moral dilemmas. Although there is, I guess, a moral dilemma of whether or not this lobster should be a pet, whether or not they should cook it, and what kind of emotions are going to face there. Homer seems to treat the lobster very well, but he doesn't necessarily get it right, and it's adorable, and it's sweet, and there's some comedy there as well. So it's a really good episode. A spoiler from now, I'm going to discuss the scene that I really enjoyed because I hadn't predicted it. The scene I really enjoyed is at the end, or near the end, when Lisa goes up on stage and she announces that she cheated. And I thought, oh no, they're going to lose the money. And then it's revealed, spoilers, as I said, that they'd actually mocked up the ceremony and made a fake one because they assumed that that's what would happen. And I hadn't predicted that, and I really enjoyed it. And I thought it was very effectively done, very well delivered. And it did make me laugh. It made me smile. I really liked it. So Lisa Gets an A is a really good episode with a lot going on for it. Lisa's my favourite character, so I always love episodes that focus on her. It's one that I found very impressive. A really fun narrative with a nice subplot, very well executed, very engaging. I'd say definitely a favourite from the 10th season. Maybe not overall, but certainly one that I really enjoyed.